Hey there, class. It's just me, Mr. Wee. I'm going to be actually going over your dimensional analysis conversion sheet. I'm going to be working on, please ignore this X. This X is only applicable or only pertains to people that are in integrated math. They don't have to do this problem, but if you're in chemistry, you do have to do this problem. I'm going to be working on number 7, okay? And just letting you know, the page right before it is going to actually give you directions on how to do things like this, because you're not just starting with, let's say, one value with one little unit. You're starting with something that has like two things going on at the same time. 3,000 gallons. I'm sorry, if you look at the prompt here, let me kind of make this all disappear really quick. These bars and whatnot. 3,000 gallons of gasoline, and what is it, in 2 hours, in 2.5 hours. So you have to like start with the rate now and convert the whole rate instead of just starting with like one value that only has one type of unit. So this is a level 2 type of question for these type of units, or actually I would say level 3 because it's pretty tough. So we're going to go from miles per hour to inches per second. So that means we're changing not just 12 miles, but 12 miles over 1 hour to inches per second. So let's see what that's going to look like. Okay. So first, you got to be straightforward. It's got to be, or just straight with it. It's 12 miles per 1 hour. And just in case you didn't know, I mean, let's see if I can focus here really quick. So just make sure it's in high definition here. All right, that's as clear as I guess I can get. 12 miles per hour. That means when you're driving, theoretically, if you drive at this speed, if you drive for 1 hour, guess how far you're going to travel? 12 miles. Get it? Okay. That's how it works. So if you're driving at 65 miles per hour, then theoretically in 1 hour, if you drive at that speed, you will travel 65 miles. One other thing before I move on, think about if you go for half an hour, right? If you drive for half an hour at 12 miles per hour at this speed, how far will you have traveled? Well, in 1 hour, if you travel 12 miles, guess how far you would travel if you traveled half that time? 6 miles. Okay, so I'm getting ahead of myself here. Let's just convert to, we want our final answer to be in inches per second. Okay. And let's go ahead and number this, I guess. This is number 1, or this is number 7, actually. I don't know if you can see me numbering that, but that's number 7. Okay, so I don't know. Let's just deal with one unit at a time. I will end up having to convert both guys because you see hours is not what I want. I want it in seconds. Miles is not what I want. I want it to get it in inches. But let's just deal with one guy at a time. So I'm just going to deal with what I already know how to do. Numbers on the top, 12 miles. So I don't know how many miles or how many inches are in 1 mile. So let's go to the back of my sheet really quick and see what I can convert to first. Okay, let's see. I know that has to do with linear measure. It has to do with length and distance. So it has to do with inches, miles, whatever. Okay. Let's go in here. So it looks like if I go from 1 mile, it doesn't give me anything in inches. Okay, so that's kind of disheartening. How about nautical miles means, I guess, miles at sea. So that's a little bit different. That's kind of weird. Inches. How about inches to miles? Nope, nothing here. But what I can do is I can go from miles to feet because I know that in 1 foot there is 12 inches. So let's go to feet first. Let's convert 12 miles to feet. So let's say that for every one, so let's see what it says there. It says for every 1 mile, there's 5,280 feet. How am I going to write that? Well, I'm going to put the mile on the bottom. The question was, where am I going to put the miles and where am I going to put the 5,280 feet? I'm going to put it on the bottom so that way when I multiply them together like a fraction, the top and the bottom will cancel out. And then I have to do 5,280 feet. So far, my final answer will be in the units of feet in hours. I'm still not at inches over seconds. Let's convert the foot to inches. I know that for every 1 foot, okay, if you don't know why, it's also on the back of your sheet right here, but if you just know 1 foot is also 12 inches, you don't have to use this. I'm hoping that you didn't have to use this guy to know that 1 foot is over 12 inches, but it's okay if you did, I didn't know a lot of stuff when I was younger too. So I'm going to put 12 inches over 1 foot. Again, I did not put the feet over here and I didn't put the inches down here because that means the feet wouldn't cancel out. So I had to put it in this way, 12 inches over 1 foot. The feet will now cancel out. Ha ha. So that's good. My final answer so far, crossed out. The only unit I have left is inches. That's good. But I have to deal with that 1 hour. What the heck am I going to do with that 1 hour? Well, some of you guys might know how many seconds are in 1 hour. You can go ahead and just do 1 hour to 1 hour over, I think it's like 3,600 seconds or something. I don't know. Does this even give you time? Yeah, I don't even think this gives you time, does it? Yeah, this whole thing doesn't give you time because this question is hoping that you know about time already because you know that in 1 hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply and I'm going to cancel out hours. But guess what? We have the hours on the bottom. So in order to cancel this hours up, we're going to multiply it by 1 hour on the top. And how many minutes do we know are in 1 hour? Well, that's not too bad. We know that's 60 minutes. So instead of putting it on the top, like the units that we want on the top as usual, since the hours on the bottom, we have to find a way to cancel it out by putting the next conversion rate. We put the hours on the top. So now we have minutes on the bottom. That's looking good so far. Our final answer is going to end up with inches over, well, we don't have seconds. Yeah, we have inches over minutes. We want inches over seconds. So you know that the last conversion, we have to convert minutes to seconds. How many seconds do we know that is in like minutes? We know that, I think we all know, maybe we don't, 1 minute contains 60 seconds. And I know if I write it that way, since the minutes on the top and the bottom, they'll cancel out. And look at that. I know I did everything right. I multiply and I divided everything correctly because the units that I end up with are inches and seconds, which is exactly what I wanted. Okay, this looks really complicated and this seems complicated because it took me a long time to explain that. But once you actually do it without having to talk to someone about it, okay, it helps to talk, but without having to do something, it's not that bad. Okay, so let's take a look. Let me put my phone on airplane mode because I'm getting all these weird messages right now. And frankly, I don't think it's very professional for you guys to see all those messages. It's nothing crazy. It's just talking about surfing and whatnot. So, okay. Well, let's see. Let's turn on the brightness a little bit here. Luckily, I can see how everything records. It's still kind of bright. I can see how this looks on the recording right now. Have a little bit dimmer, huh? It's so funny on the way I see it. I can barely see, but I can tell on the camera what it looks like. Okay, so the reason why I'm using my phone is because I have a pretty good calculator. It's called GraphenCalc 83. If you don't have a TI-83, I'd recommend getting a TI-83, but those things go up to like $100 usually. A TI-84 works fine. This app is only like $10, but I'll say this: you can't use it during AP testing, SATs. You can't use that calculator. In fact, I don't even know if you can use a calculator on like your SATs, like a graphing calculator. You can use a graphing calculator on the AP Calc test. Anyways, I digress. So here's what it looks like. It looks just like a TI-83. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply every number on the top, 12 times 5,280 times 12 times 1 times 1. And then I'm going to divide by all the numbers on the bottom. Divided by 1, divided by 1, divided by 1, divided by 60, divided by 60. I'm going to do that exactly how it looks. And trust me, your calculator will know how to do the order of operations. It'll do everything in order correctly. Okay, so times 12. So I'm multiplying all the numbers on the top. Times 12, times 1. What else is there? Times 1. Some of you guys are like, do we have to do the ones? No, you don't. But I just like to show all my work. Divided by 1, divided by 1. So these are numbers on the bottom now. Divided by 60 now, which is on the bottom. Divided by 60. Okay, so that's what it should look like right now. It's literally 12 times 5,201, or 80 times 12 times 1 times 1 divided by 1 divided by 1 divided by 1 divided by 60 divided by 60. Let's see what we get. Your answer should be 211. So your answer should be 211.2 inches over seconds. So is this different from what we started with? No, it's not different. It just looks different, but you're still traveling at the same speed. It's just like saying, hey man, I just drove, or hey person, I just drove 12 miles per hour. Okay, well, guess what? I drove at 211.2 inches per second. And then the other person's like, what? And then you could be like, did I go faster or not? They'll be like, I don't know. You seem like you went faster. And the truth is, you guys were both traveling at the same speed. As long as you converted everything correctly, you should be traveling at the same speed. These are the exact same speeds, just written a little bit differently. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to stop right here. And then for my calc or for my chemistry people, I'm going to go over to the next question, which is number 8. Anybody that's in integrated math 2 doesn't have to worry about that question. Okay. All right, guys. You guys take care and you guys have a great night, day, or whatever time you're watching this.